The rant god is back, baby. Like we never left, coach. Slight work, slight work. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the premier place for anything there is rants concerning Big Brother, whether that be US or Canada. I am your humble host, Dave Smith, Pretty Boy Smitty, Protocol Paul, Pearl Game Ultra, Smith Dog Trio, Rant God, Thanos, all of the above on that ISAT test and that ACT. You know what it is. And this is Recency Bias Radio, where no one is safe from criticism, ladies and gentlemen. I am back. I have returned to Big Brother Canada for my second season that I will be covering, ladies and gentlemen. I had a pleasure covering BB Can 6. But in this episode, in this rant, in this inaugural rant to kick off the Big Brother Canada 7 season, I will be doing what people like to call a cast assessment, but what I like to call it is WTF. Worst to first, ladies and gentlemen. Now, people are going to go, hey, Dave, you're kind of baiting the trolls by putting WTF. Yeah, that's the point, coach. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I know y'all excited because I guarantee my exclusive point-based ranking system, it has been proven correct. I mean, we saw it with Celebrity Big Brother US 2 when I first implemented it, ladies and gentlemen. I was pretty much spot on by my rankings because as we followed the show, we started to realize that, yes, Eva needed to leave in order for Tamar Braxton to dominate the rest of the house, especially after John Bennett, the apex predator threat, was the first boot. So I've pretty much been vindicated. So now coming into this season, ladies and gentlemen, I guarantee I will not let any of you down. Okay, my coverage of this season will be great, okay? But my coverage of this preseason player rankings will be even better because of how spot on I'm able to read people just by an interview. Just by looking at a bio or two, I can pretty much give you all the synopsis on how the trajectory of their game. I can give you the synopsis of that. I can also predict how these players will most likely work with each other just based off of an interview, ladies and gentlemen. So this is going to be very interesting. But before we get into this, let me go ahead and make sure the Mighty Mods have my back. Let me make sure that you all can hear me correctly, because once I know that, I can truly be unleashed now, can't I? So give me 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Let me make sure. Oh, y'all can hear me. I heard it, coach. Let's get it popping, coach. Let's get it popping. What's good, BMG? We in the building. Shout outs to everybody that is watching live. Shout out to everybody who is watching on demand. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe, whether that is during this rant or after this rant, ladies and gentlemen. So now let's go ahead and get to the hot stuff. Okay, y'all can hear me. I saw myself. You can see me. Now it is time to truly break down this season, break down this cast, ladies and gentlemen. The first thing that I would like to discuss before we even get into the cast assessment part, ET Canada. I would like to give you all an ovation, and I would like to give a congratulations to the queen, Miss Ika Wong, on her new show, where she will be breaking down Big Brother Canada 7 every Thursday night to give us behind-the-scenes access. I have been asking for another Big Brother Canada sideshow since it almost got canceled. And then when it came back, they didn't really give us the sideshow. I've been begging people, we need more content to blow up Big Brother Canada more. And who better to be the ambassador to deliver said content than Queen Ika Wong? I mean, did you guys watch these pregame interviews? She brought out some charisma and enthusiasm out of these people, and some of them were boring. They were about as dull as a rock. I'm talking about you, Damien. But that's neither here nor there. But at the end of the day, though, she has an innate ability to be able to bring the best out of people in a social environment. And I think she shows us all why we loved her so much in the game with her interview ability. So I just want to give her credit right then and there. So congratulations to you, Miss Queen Ika Wong. You truly deserve this position. And I'm glad they didn't try to find someone else to do this besides you, because you're the perfect person to do it. Hell, you're the perfect person to do the interviews with people outgoing from this game. So I just wanted to start this off by saying there isn't a more qualified person than you, and I'm happy you are doing it. Also, I would like to give a huge shout out to brother Andrew Miller and sister Davon. They're coming together and they are doing what I've been begging Black folks to do on this channel, right? They're jumping on code and they are creating their own source of content, okay? That's all I want. I want us to have our own content. That way we don't have to complain about other people not covering the people they should be. If we have enough people covering it, then we don't have to check for those motherfuckers no more. And that's what they're really worried about, y'all. So if more former house guests that are black jump on code and start working together, trust me, they're going to try to whip more bullshit out of their ass to bring us down. But we don't care about that, ladies and gentlemen, because we keep it moving. So now let's get to why you're here. All right. First thing I would like to provide as context to back up my argument as to why Big Brother Canada has better recruiting and better casting than Big Brother US, even though they both use Rob and Cass. Okay, I think we've all jumped to the conclusion, and we all can agree now that it's clearly Grodner who's the problem. We can agree to that. Okay, we can agree. At the end of the day, Big Brother Canada, you don't have players saying, I want to talk to a producer. You don't have those issues. Okay, but I just want to provide this context. The average score by player using my points-based scoring system for Celebrity Big Brother US 2 was 15.75 out of a possible 25 maximum points, ladies and gentlemen. Think about that. Now, the average score by player for this Big Brother Canada 7 season is a whopping 17.71 points per player. That is a huge leap. And that lets you know Big Brother Canada, they are casting people based off of their ability to play the game and less about the entertainment aspect. Whereas Big Brother US, they cast based off entertainment first. And if you can play the game, we'll take it second. Okay? So let's get into who made it. Who is Mr. or Mrs. Irrelevant, if you will? Who is last place? Who am I going to tell y'all right now has zero chance of winning this game? Hell, I said the motherfucker's name earlier. It is Damian Kettler. And if you have followed my WTF rankings before, you know I not only break down the player before they come into the house, but I like to give them a nickname. So hopefully some of these nicknames stick. Damian Kettler, okay? His nickname, I will refer to him until further notice watching the season as First Nation Damien, okay? He's got a whopping, well, it's not even whopping, a measly 10 stars out of 25, y'all. This is pretty bad. I think Ryan Lochte scored more than you. I'm just being honest. If I'm not mistaken, Ryan Lochte had 11 points on my scoring system. This is sad, okay? This is sad. Now, number one, the first thing that I want to point out with this Damian Kettler guy, clearly a recruit. But see, my problem with this guy's existence in this season is clearly we have another hockey player by the name, what's my brother's name? I believe his name is Dane, right? Yeah, Dane Rupert. He clearly is the same archetype as this guy Damien, but he's the better version. So I dare ask all of you, how the hell did Damien make it on this season? He clearly is a recruit. He clearly never really watched the show, and he clearly only saw Big Brother 2 because a hockey player won it. This guy has absolutely no ambition for this game, has absolutely no excitement, no enthusiasm, no charisma. He doesn't care about this game at all. So my question to y'all to start all of this off is, how did this guy make the cut? I have subscribers who are from Canada who love the game so much, they can't make it on this show. But this guy who needed his girlfriend to apply for him on his behalf made the show? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? When you already had a guy who matched that archetype already on the cast? See, this makes me ask the question. Either Dane was an alternate or Damien was an alternate. Okay? One of these two was a damn alternate. I'm more willing to subscribe to the idea and the theory that Dane was an alternate before Damien. Because after doing some research and finding out what First Nation actually means in Canada, it means you are a descendant of the indigenous people of Canada. Meaning, he probably has some type of a birthright to the country or something. I'm not going to get too deep into that, but my point is, feels like this guy could have production pet upside based off of him going out of his way to let us know he was First Nation. It was kind of random. He mentioned it towards the end of his interview, and that was really the only thing he sounded enthusiastic to mention in his interview to Ika, to the point where even Ika, during the interview, had to get him excited. Like, bro, could you be more excited about this opportunity? This guy does not care about the game we love, so why should we care about him? That's my point, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, let me further break down this guy, okay? He appears to be very competitive, former hockey player like I mentioned before, has lived with strangers before to pursue his dreams of hockey, so that gives him a little leg up on the rest of the competition in terms of living with other strangers. So he does have that going for him. He'll be able to transition into that lifestyle a little bit easier. Only on the show, he has only seen 2 seasons, and he's only on the show because, like I said, his girlfriend signed him up for it. Now, I have a huge problem with this, and it's mainly because of what I just mentioned. how hard it is to get on these shows. Like, I feel like if somebody doesn't have enough love for this game to apply on their own, if they need someone to apply for them, I feel like that should automatically rule you out. I don't give a fuck what you look like. I don't give a fuck what you specialize in. I don't care what your career is. If you didn't apply yourself, you should automatically be thrown in the recycling bin. I'm just being honest, okay? I'm just being honest. There's too many people that love Big Brother Canada, that love the integrity of the game, that love what Big Brother Canada stands for, to allow this guy in when he's clearly a duplicate of another archetype that's a better version of him on the same season. I can't drill that point home enough, ladies and gentlemen. But let's continue. How can this guy possibly call himself an all-around player if he's only seen Big Brother Canada 2 and 6? He hasn't even seen all of the possible ways to play the game yet. He thinks this game is just some mental and physical thing because he has a girlfriend and assumes emotions won't tie into the game because this girl isn't in the game. But it always does, young Damien. Silly rabbit, tricks are for kids type shit. You feel what I'm saying? Him coming in and not acknowledging that is bad as well. Something tells me he watched Big Brother Canada 6 and Sequester and only sat through Big Brother Canada 2 with his girlfriend because he knew a hockey player won it before coming into this season. I think him seeing John Party win the season is all he needed to see to think he could do it too. I think this guy has a rude awakening coming for him, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just being honest, okay? I'm being honest. I see this guy as the Andrew from Big Brother Canada 2 and the Tom from Big Brother Canada 1. He'll try to control things without any real knowledge of the game, and I believe it will be his downfall. He gives a lot of vague, rehearsed answers when Ika asks him questions. I don't see players in this game believing his lies because of this. Because when he tells the truth, it isn't even convincing then, ladies and gentlemen. His pregame strategy is to be his silly and goofy self, but he wasn't very silly and goofy in the interview, so, He plans to friend zone a girl, and I'm going to mention this a lot. A lot of people coming into this season, and see, I'm not going to knock this cast because, like I said, they rank on average per player much higher than Celebrity Big Brother US 2, and Celebrity Big Brother US 2 became one of the most infamous, one of the best seasons in Big Brother US history. So just because it ranks low or high doesn't mean anything. It could still be entertaining. It could still be trash. But what I'm basically saying is, at the end of the day, coach, at the end of the day, I mean, he's contradicting his own actions in the interview as he tries to explain himself. If you're not silly, if you're not funny, while you explain how silly and funny you are, we don't believe you. You need more people, okay? Shout outs to Jay-Z, Sean Carter. We in the building, okay? But yeah, so that's his pregame strategy, to just be silly and goofy. But he isn't very likable. He plans to friend zone a girl and use her the same way as Stefania plans to use a guy. I just don't see him being able to apply this strategy. This guy pretty much has to be all in on an all-men's alliance or he's going home early in the game. I see this guy as a pre-jury boot, ladies and gentlemen. Clearly, I ranked him that low. But something I caught he said at the end was very interesting. He said he's First Nation. After doing some research, I find out that means he's a descendant of the Aboriginal people of Canada. That explains why he made it on the show, even though he didn't apply. This is also important because the production starts helping this guy out of nowhere. It will be because of his lineage, in my opinion, not because they see anything in him as a game player. Damien will most likely have to align with Adam to stick around in this game. I ranked him a 1 out of 5 stars in ability to adapt, 2 out of 5 stars in likability social game, 1 out of 5 stars in knowledge of the game, 1 out of 5 stars in pregame strategy, and 5 out of 5 stars in initial threat level. I think that's very fair. I could have ranked him much lower than that, but at the end of the day, he clearly is a huge threat just off first impression. So that's how he got that 1-5. He's lucky he got that 1-5. And like I've mentioned in a previous worst to first cast assessment, if you get 5 out of 5 stars in initial threat level, that is not a good thing. You want to get 1 out of 5. Those are usually the players that last the longest. Hell, we saw a guy in Ricky Williams who was able to make it to the end and help Tamar Braxton win the game in the end. And he was a huge sleeper threat by my ranking system, okay? And that's probably why he lost the game. Now, 13th place, ladies and gentlemen. I got to make sure I get my places right because I'm going in reverse. I'm doing a reverse pyramid, ladies and gentlemen, okay? So in 13th place, ladies and gentlemen, it is DJ Makimoto. His nickname will be DJ Maki, okay, clearly, because I started off with DJ. He has 14 out of a possible 25 stars in my points-based ranking system, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this guy's pregame strategy, he seems like he's like one of these what's it called back in the day when they used to smoke weed in the 70s? What was that called? I forgot what it was called. It don't matter. Okay. But he's one of them hippie types, right? He's all about peace and love and all that good shit. And honestly, I don't have a problem with this guy. In fact, I kind of look at him as a Dale 2.0 a bit, but he kind of reminds me of a guy named Woozy. Is that his name? Woozy? He reminds me of a YouTuber. Hold on. Let me make sure I got this dude's name right. Hold on. What's this dude's name? It don't matter. But he reminds me of this YouTuber that talks about soccer. He looks just like the guy, okay? This is for the ones who care. Anybody watching soccer, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, this guy's pregame strategy is basically to spread love. He wants to be the Adele 2.0 from Big Brother Canada 2, in my opinion. I think this strategy can help him a lot because he clearly initially he isn't a threat, meaning he will be able to lay low for a little bit. If he allows his personality and his compassion to kick in, if he's able to make people want to like him and want to protect him based off of his heart, then I think he has staying power in this game because no one will look at him as a comp piece. No one will look at him as someone who's driving strategy. And if he can be the Adele from Big Brother Canada 2, and what I mean by this is every time someone left the game, Adele would approach them and he would make sure they didn't feel alone. They didn't feel isolated. They didn't feel ostracized. That was Adele. Adele, he was always the one who was friendly with the person who was going home, even though he was aligned most of the time with the dominant alliance. This was a very savvy game move on his part, but it also is why they had to cut him before he got anywhere close to Final 3, because they knew jury management-wise, he was the biggest threat left on the board. Hell, I think even John would admit, because Netta really had a problem with Adele, because Netta was the one cutting all of these throats from behind on the puppeteer side of the game. And then you got Adele, as she's cutting throats, he's trying to stitch shit together before they leave out as a cadaver. And she was looking at this like, ain't this a man? So, of course, she didn't want Adele to make it to the end, ladies and gentlemen. I could see this same thing applying to DJ Maki. A guy that you would love to drag because you don't drag to the end because you don't think he can truly beat you. But at the same time, you have to cut him at a certain point because you're going to have so much blood on your hands carrying him to the end that you can't sit with him because he has no blood. You see where I'm getting at? And I think that's what DJ Maki, he's in between. And that's why he ranks so low, because at best, he's a guy you drag. And at worst, he's a guy that goes out pre-jury. He really doesn't have a trajectory to really win the game because he doesn't really understand the game coming into it. And that's really his biggest problem. And because there are so many apex predator possible threats of this season, like to let the blinds back a little bit, ladies and gentlemen, I think I ranked, 5 people above 19 out of 25? I think I ranked about 5 people above 19 points or 19 and above. And that's unheard of. Because if you remember Celebrity Big Brother US 2, ladies and gentlemen, the highest person, I think John Bennett was like a 21, okay? I have 2 people this season that rank above John Bennett. And that dude had pregame alliances on pregame, racks on racks on racks. That motherfucker had pregame. That motherfucker was drunk as hell before he got to the club, so much pregame. I got to take a sip on that one. That was a good joke. All right, let's continue. So let's break down Maki some more. I didn't do him justice. I was kind of freestyling Maki. He feels like a bit of a recruit. This pregame strategy is pretty pathetic, if I'm being honest, but it will definitely keep him from being on anybody's radar for a while. I don't think the nice guy strategy can win him the game, but it could put him in position to make the end and have a puncher's chance. I think he lacks killer instinct, and picking Paris as his favorite player pretty much confirmed that's the only season he's really watched before. Because to be honest with you, bro, Paris ain't that many people's favorite player. Okay, that's some recency bias radio. Let me continue. Seems to be Big Brother Canada 2's Adele 2.0, like I mentioned. I see him as the guy being able to gain votes from treating people well on their way out of the game, but in doing so, he would become the guy nobody wants to sit at the end with because his gameplay is too risky to be at the end and sit next to. He has potential to win if somebody brings him to the end, but I doubt he can win any votes based off comps and not compassion. He only scores high in likability because he doesn't understand the game, and everything else is below average, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so I got him 2 out of 5 stars at ability to adapt, 5 out of 5 stars at likability and social game, 3 out of 5 stars in knowledge of the game, 2 out of 5 stars in pre-game strategy, and 2 out of 5 stars at initial threat level for 14 stars out of 25, ladies and gentlemen. Next, let's move on over to the 12th place player. Now, this player, a lot of people I think are overrating. And the reason why you could argue I'm underrating her is because I feel as if anytime you in any way kind of resemble the winner from the previous season, you're pretty much dead on arrival. Just like Neha was in Big Brother Canada 3. Neha had to deal with the post-traumatic Netta disorder that everyone had in Big Brother Canada 3. You look like Netta. Your name is like Netta's. You're Persian too. Let's get her out. She had to deal with that bullshit. Okay, it was kind of unfair to her because she wasn't allowed to be herself. Everyone just assumed, oh, she's here to be Netta. Fuck that. Okay, I think Estefania Hoyos has the same problem. And as her nickname, I've coined her as Mastermind Steph, okay? Or I was going to call her Steph London, but I decided, nah, she ain't no rapper. Let's just leave it at Mastermind Steph. She has a 15 stars out of 25 possible maximum points, ladies and gentlemen. Now, she says she's a super fan since season 2 of Big Brother US, but to be fair, everyone says that. Everyone says that to an extent. She admits to having a catty side, which may be her downfall if she isn't careful. She wants to be the mastermind of the season, but doesn't really have a pregame strategy that I feel complements her goal of being said mastermind. But she did reveal she has mastered one thing, the white girl crying technique. This could help her. I mean, she almost did it during an interview. I mean, she looked quite convincing, if I say so myself. This may save her a week or two, okay? This might buy her some weeks, all right? This is the type of technique I doubt Caitlyn can use. That's all I'm saying. But let's continue, okay? I mean, that crying technique gave her an extra star in adaptation alone, coach. I'm just being honest, okay? Because that does kick into the ability to adapt. If you adapt on the fly and then cry as a technique, I have to apply it strategically to my scoring-based system. I gotta be honest. Despite all the bias everyone says that I have, honestly, I give people credit where it is due. This is the one rant where this isn't really me using my opinions too much. This is really me just gauging someone based off the words they say, and based off that, and based off my knowledge of the game, scoring them based off that, okay? Now, she says she wants a fake showmance and wants to use a guy to do her bidding. Seems like she's trying to play the Cassandra game and is looking for a Tim, if you ask me. I think her game is doomed because of the success of Paris, the same way Neha's game was screwed by the success of Netta. I think she has little to no chance of success, especially considering she wants a mixed alliance of men and women, while most of the other house guests in this game seem to all want an all men or all women alliance. So you see the conflict there? She's going to be pushing for something the women ain't going to want, the men ain't going to want. Doesn't that make her the person they all agree to target then? I don't know. Her best game is to play the mighty Mitchell Moffitt game of playing the middle, but at the end of the day, if she's trying to start an alliance with men and women and they both say no to that shit, I doubt both contingencies will trust her, because both contingencies will go, oh, you're cool with them, we're not cool with them. Oh, you're cool with them, we're not cool with them. And then they're all going to look at her as probably a rat, okay? And I hope this doesn't happen to her, but I'm just being honest, okay? These are the things that came out of her mouth. Now, let's continue. Like I said, I think she has little to no chance of success based off of her wanting to work with men and women because most of the house guests want to do a different strategy. This lets me know she is the biggest immediate threat, though, to Eddie Lynn, the play possum phenom. Now, that's his nickname. See, I'm coming up with some nicknames tonight, okay? I call Eddie Lynn the play possum phenom, okay? And essentially, his gameplay, I'll get into that a little bit later, his pregame strategy, but this basically is a threat to Eddie Lynn's game because Eddie Lynn wants to work with the men and the women, but he wants to play the women into thinking he wants to work with them only to cut them for the men, okay? So at the end of the day, though, this will be a direct threat to Eddie's game if she tries to make men and women work together, because then he can't play the game he wants to play. So I could definitely see Eddie Lynn coming for her neck early in the game. And not just because Paris played a similar game of playing both sides. You see what I'm saying? People are going to start catching on to her. Oh, you want to work with men and women? That sounds like Paris. You kind of look like Paris. You got to go. I'm just being honest. They're going to Neha her at some point. They're going to Neha her. All right. Her pregame strategy is to just be herself. That isn't going to get her mastermind edit, if you ask me. I don't think she knows the type of apex predator threat she'll be dealing with on this season, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think this is the season for her archetype to be successful. I see her as the pre-jury boot people get outraged about leaving too soon. That's my prediction for her. Her ability to adapt, I ranked it 3 stars out of 5. Her likability and social game, 4 stars out of 5. Her knowledge of the game, 4 stars out of 5. Her pregame strategy, 1 star out of 5. That's what got her this low. That strategy is just bad. It's not going to work the way you want it to, especially when you add to the fact we got a bisexual girl, we got a non-binary player in the game, we got a gay guy in the game. You trying to be the one to start this shit, it's not going to work for you. It's probably going to work for one of those 3. It's not going to work for you, though. That's my point. And for her initial threat level, ladies and gentlemen, she gets 3 stars out of 5. And that brings her to 15 stars out of 25, ladies and gentlemen. And that was 12th place Estefania Hoyos, a.k.a. Mastermind Steph. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to 11th place. We have Miss Samantha Pico or Picho. I don't want to pronounce this wrong. I don't know if it's Italian and you have to put a CH effect on it. I'm not sure, but let's just go with Samantha Pico. Her nickname is Honest Sam because she doesn't lie, okay? She has a 16 stars on my points-based scoring system out of 25, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I got to be honest. When I first saw this interview, I thought she was giving me BB20 Caitlyn vibes because she was talking about energies and shit and synergies and all this other stuff. I'm like, hold up, she's giving me PTSD of that 4-piece puzzle, you know? No, let me stop. Let me leave them in the past, okay? Let me leave them in the past. You feel me? But yeah, I was worried about her when she first started talking about energy and stuff. And I'm already kind of worried about her as it is because she's a bit older. But after realizing that most of this cast is a bit older, you know, like this cast isn't very young, okay? I started to come around on her a bit, but I still think age will play a factor for certain players. And, you know, especially Kaylin, who plans on lying to people and telling them she's 29 to 32. Look, I know black don't crack, Kaylin, but that's never going to be bought. That bullshit is not going to be purchased, okay? I hope you don't come in the game saying that dumb shit, because once they know you're lying about that, they're going to think you're lying about everything. And when you're already playing the game as a black person, the last thing you want to do is come off as a liar from the fucking toast. You know what I'm saying? Hey, let's toast. What's your name? You don't want to be the person that's lying during that conversation because everyone will remember it, you know, in succession. Now, let's continue, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, lots of people this season. Oh, my fault. Yeah, okay. She's another woman that wants a man for a shield as her ride or die. Now, lots of people this season are banking on the game starting off with the big alliance, but somebody has to be left out of said big alliance. So I'm shocked that nobody has a pregame strategy of trying to counteract the majority alliance that will happen in week 1. It seems like everyone has grown accepting. They're all accepting that this huge alliance will form in week 1, but everyone just assumes they'll all be included in it. Like I was waiting for someone to go, okay, if I think there's going to be a majority alliance, everyone else must think the same thing I'm thinking. So how am I going to counter it? No one in this pregame analysis even spoke about countering it. Everyone just spoke about being part of it. And that's a huge problem. But that also means we're going to have a lot of drama in week 1 because everyone thinks they got the shit figured out. Now let's continue. All right. She appears to be a bit older than some of the cast on first impression. This could be bad for her in the early stage of the game because usually older players go home early on Big Brother Canada. She says she's a bad liar. That's an early red flag for me. But she says she's good under pressure. So where the rubber meets the road will be how she lies under pressure. Aha. I scored her the highest on the cast on likability and social game, but she scored average to below average in every other category besides knowledge of the game. I don't think this cast is built for her to do well, if I'm being honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. I ranked her a 3 out of 5 stars, ability to adapt, 5 out of 5 in likability and social game, 4 out of 5 stars in knowledge of the game, 2 out of 5 in pregame strategy, and 2 out of 5 in initial threat level, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, that was 11th place Honest Sam. Now let's get to 10th place. It's time to get to Anthony Douglas, aka Champagne Tone, aka The Package. Okay, let's get to this, brother. Because when I tell you, I kept pausing his interview because he kept making me laugh. I was like, man, this dude, he might have the best DR sessions we've seen in a minute, okay? He might have them, okay? Because he really don't give no fuck, okay? And he's got like this just smooth persona, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm calling him Champagne Tone. You feel it, dig me? Iceberg Slim meet Champagne Tone, okay? Now, he ranks 17 stars out of 25, ladies and gentlemen, which is pretty good. But notice, he's only 10th place, and he's got 17. I might be wrong, but didn't Tamar score at 18? You see what I'm saying? These are a lot of players. If they were on a different season, they might be looked at as one of the front runners to win it. But on this season, the competition is so high, the bar is raised so high that a guy like Anthony Douglas, who clearly is a rare casting decision, because it's rare you got an unapologetically heterosexual black male who ain't a beta male, who ain't a coon ass motherfucker, who ain't a sellout. You know, it's rare you get all of these things that he doesn't apply, but he's still woke, he's still real. You know what I'm saying? It's rare you get all of these things, okay, in one package, ladies and gentlemen. So that's how he scored to get 17 stars. But at the same time, though, it's mind-blowing that a guy with this much upside can't even crack the top 8. Come on, y'all. That lets you know BB Can's just a different animal, which is why I'm hoping y'all do a BB Can versus BBUS. But let's continue. This guy's going to make Demetrius catch a case from the interview. Let me stop. But no, Tony Bands is hilarious. That's another nickname. I was just coming up with nicknames for him while I was watching this interview. It was funny. I was like, Tony Bands, Champagne Tone, The Package. Like, I was just coming up with nicknames. Now, he said he's been working on his pregame strategy for months and wants a ride or die in the game he can trust. Now, it was so hard to finish this interview because, like I said, I kept pausing to laugh at, but the guy is really funny. As long as he isn't screwed by some twist like they did my brother Andrew Miller, which was grimy, I think he will be recruited to join an alliance by somebody. I think a guy like that, either Adam's going to recruit him on day one or Adam's going to hate him and act like he's recruiting him on day one. Because that's what Adam's talking like. Even if I hate you, I'm going to act like I like you. So it's very possible that this could happen. But yeah, so at the end of the day, as long as it ain't a twist that screws this brother, I think he can make jury. I think he can at least do that. And I would love to see a situation where brother A. Douglas makes it to the jury house, because I think it would just be pretty interesting. And I would like to see some scenarios of him flirting with some of these girls at this house, because I think it would be classic humor. It would be classic humor. But yeah, nobody will really want to risk targeting him unless it's a backdoor early in the game, in my opinion, because nobody will want a cock diesel swole guy like my brother Champagne Tone coming after them. Nobody will want that smoke. Nobody. Okay? Even Gap Tooth Dane, even Chop Shop Dane ain't gonna want that. You feel it, dig me? That's his nickname too. Y'all know me, man. I bring the nicknames to the table, coach. All right? But if I had to give you guys a comparison of who this brother reminds me of, he reminds me of a black version from Dallas, from Big Brother Canada 4, if I'm being honest. But he's much more smooth, of course, than Dallas was. And he doesn't have the same try hard in him as Dallas did. And let's be real, Dallas got to play twice, and I don't know how he got brought back. You know what I'm saying? When you look at all of those other vets that was there, Dallas, it felt like he was there to help Cassandra or something, because he didn't earn that. I'm just being honest. Let me stop. I'm just being honest, all right? I'm rooting for him, but there was no bias applied to his score on my system, ladies and gentlemen. I am honest with all of my points, okay? Now, ability to adapt, I rank Champagne Tone 3 out of 5 stars. Likability and social game, 5 out of 5 stars. Knowledge of the game, 2 out of 5 stars. Pre-game strategy, 2 out of 5 stars. And initial threat level, 5 out of 5. You see any heterosexual black male that swole, he's 5 out of 5 threat level. I mean, it is what it is. We just got to accept it. Okay, but that gets you a whopping 17 stars. Now, to let the blinds back a bit, there was a 3-way tie with 17 stars out of 25. And the way my tiebreakers work, I don't think I ever got into this because we didn't have a tiebreaker when it came to Celebrity Big Brother US Season 2, ladies and gentlemen. Whenever I have a tiebreaker where two people rank the same stars out of 25, the tiebreaker is always who has the most knowledge of the game by my points-based ranking system. And because Brother Anthony had less knowledge of the game than the two other people he was tied with, he got last place, which got him 10th place at 17 stars. So I just wanted to provide that context for the people that go, huh? How did you come up with that? So that's my answer. So now the person in 9th place, ladies and gentlemen, with the same 17 stars is Chop Shop Dane Rupert, ladies and gentlemen. Seems to easily be the most easy guy to get manipulated by a woman in the game, in my opinion. He also seems like the guy who will blow up at some point in the game. This guy missed his season, in my opinion. He looks like he was born to be in the chop shop, which is why his nickname is Chop Shop Dane. Okay, and I think that's a clever name. Hey, Dane, you need to sell some T-shirts after this season and give me some of the proceeds because that's a clean nickname. But that's neither here nor there. Okay, CSD, I'm in the building. No, let me stop. Anyway, he wants a woman to rely on for the mental aspect of the game, but plans to use her like John Party. Isn't it interesting how both former hockey players happen to see Big Brother Canada 2, but they don't mention any other season in between 2 and 6? I call bullshit there. That lets me know these two were basically picked to try to repeat what John Party did. And it's pretty pathetic that none of them can mention any other season besides 2 and 6. It's really weird to me. It's really weird. But that's why I think both him and Damien were both recruits. And that's why all they can talk about is John so much. I mean, we get what y'all have in common, the hockey part. But besides that, though, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like it's a prerequisite for them to make it on the show as former hockey players to watch Big Brother Canada 2 or something. And just like First Nation Damien, Chop Shop Dame appears to be another recruit. But at least he's got some charisma and isn't too serious to laugh at himself here and again. I can't escape the feeling that Dane deserves to be here more than Damien. Dane is the better version of the same archetype. So why is Damien even here? This makes me even more suspicious about Damien being a production's pet more than before. Let's watch him closely, ladies and gentlemen. Dane scored very high on likability and initial threat level, but scored middle of the road everywhere else. I look forward to seeing him as a character because his charisma is different from everyone else in the cast. Has a high chance of being the life of the party or the guy everyone comes together to target. It all depends who wins first HOH, but if I'm him, I would gun for Damien from day one because him being there splits the support of hockey fans in half. Okay, so for the ability to adapt, ladies and gentlemen, I give him 2 stars out of 5. Likability and social game, 5 out of 5. Knowledge of the game, 3 out of 5. Pre-game strategy, 3 out of 5. Initial threat level, 4 out of 5, ladies and gentlemen. Next, let's get into the person who was tied with both Chop Shop Dane and Champagne Tone with 17 points. But this person managed to beat them and managed to get to the 8th place slot based off of this person's knowledge of the game. This goes to Miss Kaylin Archer, or as her nickname that I have coined, That's So Kaylin. She's a psychic. You see what I'm saying? Did someone come up with this before me? I think I'm the first one. Okay, I ain't been looking at none of y'all tweets. Okay, spoilers are already on the timeline. Every time I see someone talk about this, that, and the other, this, that, and the third, this rumor, I just straight up block this shit. It's away. It's gone. Okay, so I don't want to see none of them spoilers. But at the end of the day, though, I came up with this nickname for Miss Kaylin Archer because I think it's so spot on, and I think it can catch on really well. That's So Kaylin. Okay, she is a psychic, ladies and gentlemen. So the nickname That's So Kaylin is spot on. She plans to never tell the house she's a psychic. This is very intriguing to me because she will most likely be alienated a bit based off of her age of 42 and being a black woman. But this psychic background could be her equalizer to level the playing field. Let me go deeper, ladies and gentlemen. Especially if she can gain information from someone by touching them and manages to do it at opportunistic moments. In theory, she could catch anyone in a lie if she gets enough time to read them. And if she happened to ever win HOH, she could be the most powerful HOH ever if she does her one-on-ones correctly. Think about that as well, okay? Leave it to Big Brother Canada to give us a unique black archetype that didn't have to be a celebrity before BBUS, who has had over 3 times the attempts. This is why I love Big Brother Canada, ladies and gentlemen. So all these contrarians popping up all of a sudden. Now that a black winner won, all of a sudden you got these random people with hot takes. Are we sure Big Brother Canada's better, bro? Shut your bitch ass up. This ain't the time. This ain't the time. It's always a motherfucker, as soon as we get something, they want to act like, oh, everything's great now. Racism is over. Yeah, we're not slaves anymore. They freed us. You dumb motherfucker. It's still more things to get done. Okay? It's always some idiot that thinks all of a sudden they got the answers. Okay? And I forgot what the dude's name was, but are we sure Big Brother Canada's better, bro? Like, clearly he wanted attention. But that's neither here nor there, okay? But at the end of the day, so all these contrarians acting like Big Brother Canada is nothing different, maybe they need to take a damn psych exam, because you're clinically insane if you think a Big Brother Canada cast is the same as a Big Brother US cast. Clearly, okay? You might need to go to Arkham Asylum your damn self, coach, all right? Get that checked out, all right? But Miss Kaylin may be in more trouble if she doesn't keep her lies in order. She says she plans to lie about her age, but I don't think anyone will believe she's 29 to 32 years old. If she says that instead of an age more believable, she could be an early boot. She needs to be very careful with the first impression phase of the game, because that is when black players usually lose the game before it starts, unfortunately. And while I agree with Ika that black doesn't crack, it still isn't wise enough for a 42-year-old woman to claim she's 29. Come on now, let's chill out. All right, let's chill out. Don't set her up to fail now. All right, let's not gas her up too much now. All right, because once the social game starts to play up a bit, she's going to expose her age because she ain't going to be able to keep up with the same stuff these other people talking about at the same pace. That's what I'm saying. Okay, because she's clearly going to be into different things on television. And see, now she's got to hide her interest in life because she's hiding her career. She's got to probably hide her kids. She's going to say she has a boyfriend, not a husband, to make herself appear younger. But that implies young people can't be married. I don't know, man. I hope the best for her. Okay, I do. But I got to be honest about this and provide some constructive criticism, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not like all the competition that just kiss white folks' ass all day and then they shit on black people, or just kiss black people's ass all day, then just shit on white folks. No. Everyone gets the smoke when it's necessary, okay? Because I am a person who is impartial, who is bipartisan. I don't really care about all this extra shit. Yeah, would I love to see a black player win the game? Of course. But now that we've gotten a winner, do I need to see it every fucking season? No. So you're going to see me call this down the middle this season. Don't worry about it, all right? Now, as if I didn't before, but you know the haters. Anyway, let's continue. She needs to work, my fault. She also wants to align with strong players, but she specifically wants a nerd to work with. I think personally she needs to work with Mark then. And honestly, I think her, Mark, and Eddie would be the most unlikely dominant trio of players if they worked together. It would synergize with Mark's wishes of wanting to lay low and take out comp beasts. Now, the question is, who would Mark recruit to be their fourth member? I doubt he would want 3 guys and 1 woman, so I'm thinking Kiara or Kyra would be the ideal fit, but time will tell, ladies and gentlemen. She scores high on adapting and knowledge, but middle of the road everywhere else. Unless she works with Mark, I don't see her lasting a long time in the game because of the age difference. Socially, she won't be able to hide her age for long. I think if she had these same tools and was the same age as maybe Honest Sam at like 30, I think she would score in the early 20s. I think she would score that high if she was just a little bit younger, because her social game would get some extra points, right? But because she isn't. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, so I'm eager to see how a black woman is perceived in a Big Brother game post-Tay martyrdom, ladies and gentlemen. Had to go ahead and give my rant its own little plug. Ding! Now, ability to adapt, ladies and gentlemen, I got her 4 out of 5 stars. Likability in social game, 2 out of 5 stars. It's mainly the age thing. Knowledge of the game, 5 out of 5. Pre-game strategy, 3 out of 5. Initial threat level, 3 out of 5. Normally, I don't really rank women above 3s unless they're just like a supreme athlete on the Lolo Jones side of the game, maybe. Or if they are black. Usually that's what gets you to at least a 3 in most cases, because we don't like to admit it, But first impression is a motherfucker, and that's what initial threat level is about. When you first size up somebody, do you think you can work with them or not? Usually the black player is always 3 stars and above. Now let's continue. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, 7th place. We're already halfway through. We making moves, ladies and gentlemen. 7th place, ladies and gentlemen, goes to Adam Pike, or as I coined his nickname, the masculinist. Okay, you got your feminists, and then you got this guy, the masculinist. Now, most people would think, oh, man, you must love this guy because you've been anti-feminism for a minute, Smitty. I'm not really a big fan of this Adam Pike guy. I think he's a bit of a tryhard. But at the end of the day, he's an 18 out of 25 points-based scoring player. So we got to give him some respect there. He scored pretty high. You feel me? But at the same time, he only scored 1 point better than 2 black players. You feel me? So at the end of the day, though, he does come with his own baggage, and that's why he didn't crack the top 5. So let's continue. He admitted that he tried out for this game 5 times. So that lets you know he's a tryhard. Ding! Been watching the game for 10 years. Thought that was an interesting number. 10, huh? Seems like the ideal production's pet, if I'm being honest. And he wants a 4-person guy alliance and wants to win first HOH. Now, the reason why this is interesting is because Mark also mentioned that he would want a 4-person alliance, but he didn't specifically say all men. Whereas Adam is specifically saying he's adamant. That might be his good nickname right there for adamant. You feel me? But he's adamant about having a 4-person all guys alliance. So it's interesting to see what happens with that when those 2 people come together. But he wants all the men in his alliance to use a Big Brother 12 brigade type strategy of getting close to 1 person each to ensure the majority. He even mentions the brigade after I immediately connected the dots on who his strategy is meant to emulate. Ika, as the true interview queen she is, right on cue asked the question everyone wanted to know. Why not include a woman on said alliance? This guy Adam kind of ducked that question like a jackass, if I'm being honest, okay? I think he's too set on this strategy and isn't allowing himself room to pivot in the game or adapt. And that is one of my scoring systems. That is one of my categories, adapting. So you already know he didn't score that well on that part. But anyway, he doesn't even appear to be open to wanting a woman in his alliance. This isn't good for his likability either, in my opinion. His pregame alliance, my fault. His pregame strategy doesn't really score high either because it's just copying somebody else's gameplay from a previous season of Big Brother. So while it isn't as bad as coming in with no plan, it's too safe of a plan to give 5 stars to, if that makes any sense, ladies and gentlemen. Scared don't make no money. Scared money don't make none, okay? Something tells me this guy won't be liked by the end of the season. I think Ika knows this guy is too one-dimensional of a player to make it to the end, and frankly, I do too. But he does have the initial tools to at least blend in for a week or 2 if he doesn't win HOH. He doesn't want to showmance, but something tells me that is only because of his pregame strategy of only to work with men. If that all guys alliance falls through at some point in this game and fails, I fully expect him to be open to a showmance as his pivot move. So in his ability to adapt, ladies and gentlemen, I ranked him 1 out of 5 stars. Okay. Likability and social game, 4 out of 5. Knowledge of the game, 5 out of 5. Pre-game strategy, 3 out of 5. Standard cookie cutter shit. Initial threat level, 5 out of 5, ladies and gentlemen. And that is, once again, 7th place, Adam Pike, the masculinist, the adamant masculinist, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now let's get to 6th place, ladies and gentlemen. We getting to the real apex predators now. Like, we're on 19 stars right now with this next person, ladies and gentlemen. And at the end of the day, this was hard to score. Once it got to the final 6, it was hard to figure out who's the true apex predator threat here. But I've come to the conclusion who it is. But this player is 6th place, and it is Miss Laura Roberts, a.k.a. her nickname, I'm calling her the Gifted Recruit. That's her nickname. She's got 19 stars out of 25, like I mentioned before. Fantastic speaker. Stunningly attractive. Okay? Usually, I feel like women with no hair ain't that fine, but she pulls it off. And I've always been a fan of, if she ain't got no hair and she fine, she the finest of them all. Because at the end of the day, everybody can't rock that look. I'm just being honest, okay? I'm just being honest. I'm just being real, all right? Now, she will be able to most likely drive the social game with the way she speaks to people. She gives silent eye contact and is very intelligent on first impression. Her pregame strategy of not having a strategy and simply filling things out is very smart because she will most likely not be on anyone's radar early. But to be honest, damn near everyone is coming in with this strategy. And she was one of the first interviews that I saw. So let me amend that by mentioning everyone's coming in playing that style. So it's going to be interesting if everyone just wants to come in and dip their toe into the fucking pool before they jump in and do a belly flop, then who's going to get the splash? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Who's going to be the first one to go, I don't give a fuck how cold it is. I'm waiting for that person because that's going to be the person that probably drives the strategy for at least the first couple of weeks, ladies and gentlemen. My fault. I think I lost myself for a split second. No, I didn't. She's open to a casual romance outside of the game, but not a showmance inside of the game. She isn't diametrically opposed to it, but she doesn't want the increased target the showmance brings. I also like the fact she doesn't want to rely on a guy to win the game. This shows me she may be the natural enemy to Adam Luke's game. Did I say Adam Luke? That's not his name. Hold on. Adam Pike. I think spell check fucked me up there. Adam Luke. Like, what the hell is it? This man a character from Star Wars? Anyway, let's keep it popping. This shows me she may be the natural enemy to Adam Pike's game of wanting a male alliance, because she appears to be the most obvious feminist in the cast. This is good because I expect someone with these personality traits to be able to handle the block well and handle keeping secrets well. She has the ideal temperament for a modern Big Brother Canada player. Only problem I could see her having is with some men who could immediately view her as the leader of the women. She could have the same problems as Adam if she doesn't lay low early. But unlike Adam, she got along really well with Ika. She plans to own her lies in the moment if she gets exposed, which is ideal for adapting and damage controlling her social game. So she scores high in basically both of those categories. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, except knowledge of the game. This interview didn't really prove to me she's a super fan. It proved that she is an elite recruit with skills that can excel in the game, though, but not somebody who knows the game in and out coming into it. This could be a positive for her because she might not feel the pressure super fans feel while playing, but it also could be a detriment down the road in expecting what competition will hit at one point. That could be the difference between her surviving a triple eviction and not, ladies and gentlemen. So when it comes to her scoring, ladies and gentlemen, I ranked her 4 out of 5 in the ability to adapt, 5 out of 5 at likability and social game, 2 out of 5 in knowledge of the game, 4 out of 5 in pre-game strategy, and 4 out of 5 in initial threat level. I think she clearly comes off. Oh, and this was another tiebreaker. I'm sorry, I didn't even realize this. She was actually tied with the person that I'm finna mention next, ladies and gentlemen. The person who is in 5th place, ladies and gentlemen. And the person who was in 5th place that won the tiebreaker over Miss Laura, aka the gifted recruit, Miss Laura Roberts, is none other than Miss Kiera Wallace, or as I've coined her nickname as, Kiki Boogie. And the reason why I'm calling her Kiki Boogie is because in her interview, she said something like, "Shot stop Boogie." She said some shit like that. And I said, you know what? That's Kiki Boogie over there. You know, sometimes a nickname is simple, but it's at the same time, it's catchy. I'm trying to pick nicknames y'all can hashtag. You feel where I'm coming from? Now, anyway, she gets 19 out of 25 star in the tiebreaker. Okay. Now, her pregame strategy is about taking risks, making moves, and being entertaining. But she doesn't want it to lead to her demise. One red flag I see is her admitting to being okay with throwing her game out the window if her ride or die is being targeted by the house. This is terrible gameplay, and I'm shocked she admitted she would do this. She's bisexual. That caught me off guard as well, but that does give her some flexibility for both strategy and showmances. She could play it like Willow did. Be with a girl in the game, then date a male house guest after only to get with a girl again. Or she could do the opposite. I'm spilling tea on accident, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, common sense says her and Eddie will hit it off really well for several reasons. I'm eager to see if she can convince him to change his pregame strategy. I'm also interested to see if there becomes an LGBT alliance because it's very, very possible. It's also possible a tattoo alliance can form too, because plenty of people have them as well. But one thing I caught during her interview that most people probably missed was her acknowledging the idea of a non-binary alliance. Have y'all ever heard anyone in an interview mention the phrase non-binary alliance before? What are the odds that someone mentions non-binary alliance during the same exact season where a non-binary player exists for the first time in Big Brother North American history? I don't believe in coincidences, ladies and gentlemen, and this leads me to believe they could have a pregame alliance, okay? Now, I'm sure many of you will probably write this off as her simply being a member of the LGBT community and knowing said terminology, But isn't it a bit too ironic that she would say this going into the season with Kyra in it? I just thought that was a little suspicious, y'all. There very well could be a pregame LGBT alliance here, and this could have been her accidentally outing it, no pun intended. So let's keep our eyes on Kiki Bookie and the non-binary blindsider. That's Kyra's nickname. Oh, y'all know that nickname code, NBB. Y'all know that's a code, isn't it? The non-binary blindsider. I think that should make a shirt for that, coach. That's clean. That's clean. But let's continue, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue, okay? Because they both could be plants in this season, okay? She scores very high on likability, adapting, and knowledge of the game, but she's pretty much average on pregame strategy and threat level, ladies and gentlemen. On ability to adapt, I got Kiki Boogie as 5 out of 5. Likability and social game, 5 out of 5. Knowledge of the game, 4 out of 5. Pregame strategy, 3 out of 5. And initial threat level, 2 out of 5, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're on to the final 4. And I know y'all some of y'all might be shocked right now who's in this final 4. Y'all might, I don't know. I think a lot of people have painted me as this guy who doesn't call it down the middle. But I got to give credit where it's due. The 4 people I have not mentioned yet, that I have not broken down yet, these are the 4 best players coming into this game, in my opinion. Okay? And I think it's going to be really difficult for you to convince me of otherwise. And I think most people will agree with me. And I think some of them that are agreeing with me might be a little shocked that they agree with me because they may have assumed I wouldn't rank this way. But let's continue. The person I have in 4th place, this might surprise y'all because y'all might expect this person to be first. Chelsea Bird, ladies and gentlemen, a.k.a. the silent superfan assassin. That's her nickname, ladies and gentlemen. She's got 20 stars out of 25. Now answer this question. You mean to tell me the top 4 all scored above 20? Yes, coach. Yes, chick. Yes. I'm telling you, bro, this is one of the best breakdowns of this cast you will ever see on the internet. All right. Once Miss Chelsea Bird started talking, I immediately thought she's making the jury at least. Like as soon as I watched this interview, I at least knew she's nowhere near a target pre-jury. Nowhere near. And for real, nowhere near. And that was before I knew anything about her. She's got that look. I think she's a mixture between Big Brother Canada 4 Ashley and Sarah. I think she's kind of like a mixture of those two. And I think Laura, I think she's more so a mixture of Big Brother Canada 4 Brittany, mixed with a little bit of Cassandra. I think they're both kind of like fusions of archetypes, if I'm being honest. That's why I would like to see both of them work together, if I'm being real. But yeah, so let's continue, ladies and gentlemen. So as soon as she started talking, I thought she was at least making jury. I think there's no chance she is a pre-jury boot. Real super fan. Believes her radio career will help her break the ice and create bonds with people in the house. Funny thing is, if she would have never said she was a radio personality, I would have assumed Laura was actually the radio personality before her. I'm just being honest. The way Laura talks, she talks like a podcaster. Fast, intelligent, and that shit's sexy to me. I mean, whenever a woman can speak fast because she knows all the shit she talking about like that, I'll be like, damn. Like, I just think it's attractive to see anyone passionate about something enough to speak at a fast pace about it, because that means they've done more than enough preparation to speak that fast. But let's continue. Funny thing is, I already mentioned that. Her and Laura both are oozing with intellect when they speak. They both need each other in this game, if I'm being honest. She says she doesn't like obnoxious people, so Adam may be in trouble. But the funny thing is, I could see her having a showmance with Adam too. You feel what I'm saying? It's possible. But she admitted to being in a fresh relationship, but still wouldn't rule out a showmance happening. Hold on for a second. This stuff just reset it. Sometimes my phone, I be having it open too long, and they be like, hold up, coach. You got to cut me back on, bro. I ain't built for this, man. Your rant is killing the game, coach. You know, I be feeling like people hacking my phone sometimes. No, let me stop. Okay. Yeah. So she says she doesn't like obnoxious people, so Adam may be in trouble, but I could see her having a showmance with him too. In some weird way. It's possible. But she admitted to being in a fresh relationship, but still wouldn't rule out a showmance happening. This shows me she has apex predator threat upside because she'll do whatever it takes to win. Hell, we saw Kevin Martin let a gay guy fondle him and kiss him. Hell, didn't Kevin even fondle the gay guy himself just to win a season of Big Brother Canada? And he was in a relationship with Peely and still was able to keep her after all that shit went down. So at the end of the day, I think it's really refreshing to see a woman care so much about this game that she's willing to apply the same level of hunger that Kevin Martin did in Big Brother Canada 5. So for that, I would like to give Chelsea some credit, because it's rare that you see a woman so fearless to admit, hey, I'm in a relationship, but you know what? Fuck it. I'll do a showmance. I'm like, you know what? As a super fan, I respect that. Oh shit, my light almost fell. I don't know if y'all saw that shift in lighting, but boy, that thing almost came tumbling down, coach. There was timber. Okay, that was crazy. My reaction time is top tier though. But yeah, I don't know if that was Kevin Martin sending me a message. Hey, stop talking about my past. I already blocking people on Twitter for it. Let me stop. Okay. But yeah, so you have to want it more than anyone else, ladies and gentlemen. That's my point. And that's why it's so refreshing to see Chelsea apply this level of hunger to a game. And as a radio personality, she's probably making good money as it is. So to see this hunger coming from someone that really isn't broke, right, is also refreshing, because it feels like a celebrity hungry season. And that's why I'm loving this Big Brother Canada cast so far. It feels like a whole bunch of people who are already semi-celebs, the way they're coming into the game, not giving a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, usually people are so scared, like, this is my only chance to make it. Like, so they just crash and burn. But we got super fans that know this is their only chance. Well, in Chelsea's case, she's already made it in some circles. But my point is, because she's already successful, I think that allows her to be fearless as a super fan in the game. And that's what I'm getting at. So I just want to give her credit here, because Chelsea so far is showing me that she has all the tools. She doesn't want power right away and doesn't want to play seriously until she can gain full control. But I have a feeling she'll probably get power really soon, mainly because at the end of the day, I think the women will read the writing on the wall and know that they got to win something. They can't allow the men to win the first HOH, or else one of them is going to go. It's just really that simple. Okay. Another thing her and Laura have in common is basically the Brittany and Sarah vibes that I'm getting from them. You know what I'm saying? Now, I already mentioned what they're fused as, so I'm not going to repeat that. The only problem I have with her is the first twist being designed to help her the most, in my opinion. Who else is the majority of people in Canada going to vote for besides a radio personality? And seeing as she was never going to be a huge target from the start anyway, it feels like Big Brother Canada is trying to guarantee the game starts the way they want it to with this twist. This is a bad sign here if she wins the twist. Now, I don't know for a fact if she wins it, but based off watching these interviews, she's really the only person who would have the inside track on a popularity vote, because she is already a public figure. You get what I'm saying? She's really the only person you could call a F-class celebrity, maybe. You know what I'm saying? She's really the only person on the cast you could really call it. Well, I guess you could call DJ Maki one, maybe. You feel what I'm saying? But DJ Maki, he ain't out here on a radio station. You see what I'm saying? He ain't dealing with syndication and commercial breaks and all this. And you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So she has a bit of an advantage here that is a bit unfair when you take this into context, ladies and gentlemen. This twist not only gives the winner an advantage for the first HOH comp, but it also allows them to be the first player in the house itself. Isn't it interesting how this becomes a twist after Tamar Braxton broke the first one in curse? Ain't that interesting, y'all? You know, soon as Tamar Braxton breaks the curse, all of a sudden now we want a twist that lets you to be the first one in. Ain't that interesting? Makes me wonder, would this twist have existed if Tamar Braxton didn't win the game? I doubt it, but I'm sure people in Big Brother Canada would say, oh, we've been doing production meetings based off of this first twist for months now. I'm sure that's the excuse they would give us, but I don't buy the bullshit. You buying the bullshit? I ain't buying the bullshit. So let's continue. I don't believe in coincidences. So whoever wins this twist on episode 1 is probably production's apex pet. I'm being honest with you. That's the person we got to assume is their apex pet. Because I always say these popularity votes, there's no guarantee that they're actually letting the public decide. Like, I've always had a theory, like with the All-Star vote, that it was never real. Because once you start saying, oh, the people who vote, they get a certain percentage, but then the coaches and the GMs, they get to vote. It's almost like, nah, bro, you want the coaches and GMs to decide the teams. You just want the people to feel like they're affecting something, and that makes them want to watch. You know, it's like a bait and switch trick. Now let's continue. In terms of ability to adapt, ladies and gentlemen, I rank Miss Chelsea 4 out of 5. Likability and social game, 5 out of 5. Knowledge of the game, 5 out of 5. Pre-game strategy, 4 out of 5. And initial threat level, 2 out of 5. Initial threat level. I'm sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Now, in third place, ladies and gentlemen, with a whopping 21 points out of 25 stars in my scoring system, it is no other than the play possum phenom himself, Daily Eddie Lynn. I got to be honest with y'all, man. I got to be honest. Watching this dude's interview, I think this guy's a genius. I think he's an undercover genius. I think he's bullshitting us all. I think he's running a good game. I think he's even got Ika fooled. He didn't fool me. This dude is smart. When I heard him break down his pregame strategy, I said, uh-oh. This is what the post-Tamar Braxton era looks like. When people figure out how to use the board, people learn how to use the subconscious racism in your mind against you. See, Tamar, she used it against the players on her season by acting like her and Candy hated each other even more than they actually did, which allowed them to both have time in the game because everyone assumed they would target each other. Then eventually they both work together when there's less numbers and when they can control everything. That's what the play possum phenom is doing. Essentially, he's doing it in a different way, which I'll break down now. But my point is, we got to put some respect on Eddie Lynn's name. We got to put some respect on Eddie Lynn's name. I am impressed by this guy's game. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people wouldn't expect me to rank him top 3. But I think this dude is very close to apex predator threat. Because when you break down all the best players in this season, all of their games have to really get G-checked by Eddie's game in a weird way. I'm going to break that down too in a second, but let's continue. Eddie's pregame strategy blew my mind. He plans to use the negative stereotypes people will have against him by playing up how much he needs someone to carry him through the game, only to be the one truly in control. This is ingenious to me because Will basically did this with Kevin in Big Brother Canada 5. And when you really break it down, Dr. Will did this shit with Nicole too. He made her believe she was dragging him to the end when in reality, he was getting her to flip on all of her friends one by one, convincing her there's no way he will win over her. Then he won over her because she betrayed all her friends to be at the end with him. Ingenious. Now, am I saying Eddie Lynn is Dr. Will? Maybe. It remains to be seen. But when I provide this context to back up his pregame strategy, you can't deny this is some next level clever shit. I'm being honest, coach. Okay. Now, like I said, this is ingenious. And you can argue Dre did this with Ika as well. If Ika isn't in the game, does Dre last as long as she did in Big Brother Canada 5? Probably not. You see what I'm saying? But to see someone come into the game specifically set on this style is a testament to the evolution of Big Brother, at least in North America. This is the post-Tamar Braxton era of Big Brother, ladies and gentlemen. Tamar's winning gameplay has now set the table for other minorities in Big Brother to play up the same stereotypes that were once used to make us the brunt of every joke in the edit. And now minorities are learning how to flip it on its head to now make the punchline of the joke on the racist subconscious of the other players. Mind-blowing type shit. Mind-blowing. Let me repeat that. Because that was some Kendrick Lamar bars right there. That was some J. Cole, okay? Now, let me say this one more time. Tamar's winning gameplay has now set the table for other minorities in Big Brother to play up the same negative stereotypes that were once used to make us the joke of the edit, and it is now flipping it to make the punchline of the joke on the racist subconscious of the other players. Wow. Okay? Do you understand how much engineering, how much mental engineering it takes to come up with this strategy and to mention it before the game? See, guys like Andy, they stumble into the winner circle. They stumble into it. They get lucky, right? Andy didn't come into the game saying, hey, I'm going to be a fucking rat, and I'm going to rely on people being racist towards black players, and I'm going to just piggyback off that gameplay and act like even though I enabled it, I'm not racist. This isn't what Eddie Lynn is doing. He's doing the opposite. He's trying to make people naturally have negative stereotypes of him as an Asian man because he knows, number one, the stereotype of an Asian man with glasses on is he's intelligent. So now he's going to use the language and cultural barrier to his advantage to make people think he's a bit slower than he should be. This is great because what does it do? It makes people think there's no way he can come up with his own strategy because he's barely taking in the information that we're giving him in the moment. You see how ingenious this is? Like real talk. I'm not dick riding. I'm putting your own game on how clever this shit is. And hopefully, if someone watching this video plays a future season of Big Brother and you happen to be a minority of some kind, hopefully you can apply this same type of strategy into your game. Now, maybe it doesn't have to be the focal point of said strategy, but it can definitely be a facet. And that's why I'm shedding light on it, because I think this is groundbreaking, okay? But only with a Tamar victory does this type of strategy even get brought up before the game. You see what I'm saying? And even if the strategy doesn't work, ladies and gentlemen, it changes everyone's approach in future seasons to scout for it. And that's all that matters. In football, when you see the first team use the Wildcat offense, the first season, no one knows how to check for it. But then after an offseason of scouting it, figuring out exactly how to guard against it, or the run pass option, the RPO, eventually, now you make that type of playbook obsolete because everyone knows how to scout for it. Everyone knows how to defend it, right? But the first time it gets applied, no one knows what to do. That's where I'm coming from, ladies and gentlemen. No one's going to see this coming from Eddie Lynn. No one's going to see this coming. And that alone gives Eddie Lynn 5 stars for pregame strategy alone. So now you see how he ranked in the top 3. And I ain't even get to the other categories yet, okay? He knows women always assume the gay guy would choose them over the men. So he plans to use this strategy to sabotage the women and blame the men for it. This is ingenious. The women will never suspect he drove the strategy to betray them. They will always suspect someone like Adam did it before Eddie. He's also aware the men will drop him at some point and knows when the time will come, he will have to pivot again. This guy is smart, okay? He's also showing me he will most likely play both sides like Mitchell Moffitt attempted to do, but I think he has a higher chance of executing this plan than Mitch did because he is more socially aware and self-aware of how he will be perceived. Mitch didn't really know how smart he came off because he was a little too game body. You feel what I'm saying? While Eddie plans to use the language barrier to his advantage to create a forced disconnect, which in theory could keep him from getting close to people. But it also keeps those same people from expecting anything from him. And when people have low expectations for you, you can do nothing but impress them. You see where I'm getting at? Now, all of a sudden, the narrative and the arc that is building makes him seem like the protagonist of the season. I'm telling you, if this strategy is used correctly, no one can beat Eddie Lynn at the end. No one. No one. All he has to do is reveal what his strategy was all along, and everyone goes, he's right. I'm telling y'all, man, listen. This will give him plenty of time in the game. Just enough time for the house to be split and for his game to work. I'm very high on Eddie as long as he makes it out of week 1. I score him high at everything except threat level. I think he is very dangerous and has huge apex predator upside. He also said he doesn't care what people think. What I like so much about this guy, though, is how honest he is about his strategy. He isn't coming into the game not knowing what he's going to do, then relying on racism to lower his target, and then make it to the end because of a racist jury like Andy did, okay, in BB15. He legit is trying to mindfuck people from the start by doing the opposite, by making himself be the center of stereotypical thought and using what most wouldn't to his advantage by using the human nature of conservative people against them. He knows an Asian man with glasses is expected to be smart. So by him playing up the cultural language barrier, it makes people naturally expect him to be a bit slower with processing information. This is some next level shit that only recency bias radio is going to notice, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get into the scoring system. I rank Eddie Lynn, aka the play possum phenom, 5 out of 5 in the ability to adapt, 4 out of 5 in likability social game, 5 out of 5 knowledge of the game, 5 out of 5 pregame strategy, and 2 out of 5 initial threat level. This guy, and remember, this guy is 3rd place with 21 stars, okay? So, man, it's hard at the top. It's hard to make it to the top, coach. And now let's get into 2nd place. The person who has made it to 2nd, okay? And it's funny because I think people are, I don't know if y'all know who 1st place is, okay? But once I tell you who second place is, you'll know. But at the end of the day, it was a toss up between these two people. I really didn't know who was above the other. Now, it's not a tiebreaker or nothing, but it was a toss up because I almost had to go back and watch the other person's interview, then watch that person's interview, then come to the decision. Someone's apex predator between these two, and it ain't no tie, okay? Because they're completely different. But at the same time, if they work together, ooh, this house is in trouble. Second place in my recency bias radio exclusive point-based scoring system, ladies and gentlemen, it goes to Mark Derelick, aka Mark Mayhem. That is his nickname. I've coined it. Okay. And honestly, I think Mark has all the tools to win this game. I mean, this dude even had 3 stages to his pregame strategy. I've never heard of some shit like this. Okay. And see, this is so refreshing. And see, I didn't watch none of these interviews until today. I purposely waited because I didn't want to deal with none of the recency bias. I didn't want to deal with none of the prisoner of the moment shit. I wanted everything I wanted everyone to check out what was going on. I wanted the hype to die down a bit. Then I wanted to go watch. Okay. Because I feel like when we watch it for the first time, we're so excited. You know, when it first gets dropped and they're dropping them one at a time, we get so excited. We overrate the first interview we see. You know, it's just natural. Okay. It's human nature. So he's got 22 out of 25 stars, Mr. Mark Mayhem. Okay. Now, he's a super fan since his teenage years. I believe he said since he was 13, he's been a super fan. That's great to see. I've also been a super fan since I was basically like 12 years old. So that's good to see, ladies and gentlemen. This man might break a Guinness World Record for the most likes ever said by a man during a season of Big Brother. Did y'all notice how many times this dude said like in his interview? That was really the only thing I could nitpick on him in this interview. Because, man, that brother talks fast. Okay, I feel like him and Laura, they could have a talk off. All right, and I don't know who gonna win. I don't know who gonna walk off. You feel what I'm saying? I don't know. All right. But at the end of the day, he reminds me a lot of Austin for Big Brother 17, if I got to be honest with y'all. But yeah, he feels a lot like Austin. But without all the eccentric shit, you know what I'm saying? And without the need for approval from a showman's with what's Shorty's name? One of the twins. I forgot her name. The one that didn't make it on the Challenge 33. The one who didn't make the cut. That one. All right, let's continue, man. You know I gotta throw some shade here and there, man. I can't help it, coach. Now let's continue. He's the only player I have ever seen in Big Brother history to have a 3-stage pregame strategy in his pregame interview. So I had to give him a perfect score in that category of 5 stars alone. He plans to be first. He plans to first be social and wait things out until the ideal four-person alliance can be formed to make a run. What I like about this first stage is he doesn't care if it's 3 women in the alliance with him or 3 men in the alliance with him or a mixture of both. This lets me know he's prepared to pivot at any moment and isn't coming into the game fooling himself into believing his way is the only way. Adam, Damien, you know, he's not fooling himself like those 2 guys. Okay. I see women liking his style of gameplay much more than all the other guys besides maybe Eddie. I think Eddie and Mark will work fantastic together, if I'm being honest with y'all. In stage 2, after he gets the dream team locked in, he wants to get out all the comp beasts. I get why he would want to do this, but doesn't this go against his wishes of not being perceived as the 4 who are running the game? Once some comp beasts leave back to back, people will start to catch on. So it'll be very intriguing to see how he does this balanced act of knocking out shields for himself while trying not to look like the mastermind himself. And if he knocks out the male comp beast first, Eddie could become his biggest threat because Eddie wants those threats to stay over the female threats. All the best pregame strategies have to get Eddie's indirect approval when you truly break it down. In stage 3, he wants to backstab his alliance completely and yoke them by relying on his knowledge of the game to win out down the stretch. Stage 3 is too risky for a guy who has planned this out so well. And all it takes is for stage 2 to not work for him to have to adapt to somebody else's game. He's playing with fire, but I like how fearless he is in the process, ladies and gentlemen. He's almost made it on multiple Big Brother Canada seasons, so I expect him to be the one who is the least affected by sequester before the game begins, seeing as he most likely was an alternate in the past for a previous season. He scores high on everything but threat level, just like Chelsea and Eddie did. but he provided just enough to outscore them on my point system. He gets 5 out of 5 on the ability to adapt. He gets 4 out of 5 on likability social game, 5 out of 5 on knowledge of the game, 5 out of 5 on pregame strategy, and 3 out of 5 on initial threat level, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's get to the apex predator threat. I gotta give this person credit. Kyra Shanker, the non-binary blindsider. Okay, the nickname is so clean she gotta be first place. That could be the slogan for the t-shirt. I'm just throwing it out there. She got a whopping 23 stars out of 25. Do y'all realize what that means? That means she only got 2 points off. Only 2 points she didn't qualify for out of possible 25. This is one of the most perfect players I think I've seen pregame in a long, long time. And when I say perfect, I don't mean she doesn't have a flaw in her game. I mean, she is the closest thing to not having any weaknesses. That's what I mean, okay? When you take into a context, she can work with women, she can work with men, she can work with all the gay people and just have a gay alliance. She literally can do anything she wants, in theory, okay? And the great thing about her is she doesn't seem like she's going to be loud. She doesn't seem like she's going to be full of herself like Erica was last season. She doesn't seem like she's going to turn on her alliance after 1 week like Erica did last season. And I'm not just trying to compare her to another woman who's a lesbian or anything. I'm not trying to do that. But my point is, though, at the end of the day, she seems to be much more loyal. Now, she admitted that she has some trust issues and she waits for people to show that they can be trusted before she decides to trust them. That's good. Every player should come into the game thinking that way, and you can't knock her for that. But at the end of the day, I mean, I can't speak any more highly of this individual. I mean, just one of the best pregame interviews I've seen in a while. Very confident, quiet confidence. She doesn't give no fuck. And if she is the wrong term to use, I apologize. But at the end of the day, your name is Kyra. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I'm also not trying to take forever to get my point across, okay? So Kyra is who Erica thought she was in Big Brother Canada 6. She's confident and excited, but she isn't full of herself. Kyra also doesn't take me as the person who would betray her allies, okay, with a heaven or hell twist, okay? She plans not to trust people until they prove their loyalty. She plans to also have a ride or die, but doesn't care who the person is as long as they have integrity. But the one thing she said that I found so revealing was that she said she would rather be a legend and lose than a winner who is hated. This lets me know Kyra won't be scared to make huge moves. In fact, she even said in her interview, she plans to lay low until jury starts, then go for the HOH as soon as jury starts, just so the entire jury can remember she's a big player. I was like, damn, what? Like, usually when jury first starts, nobody wants that HOH. Because no one wants to be responsible with starting the snowball effect of who gets sent home. Because usually the first person to get sent home, the rest of the alliance follow them. Usually. Or it starts you took out one of mine, I'm taking out one of yours. That type thing. Kyra don't get no fuck. And that's refreshing, coach. That's refreshing. And at the end of the day, she just scores high on everything, bro. She got a perfect score on everything but initial threat level. Seriously. 5 out of 5 on everything but initial threat level. Like, do y'all know how difficult that is? To know the game, to have a good strategy, to be likable and have a social game, and be able to adapt all in one package. Shout outs to Anthony. But that's just hard to do, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? That's just hard to do. Okay? Now let's continue. So like I mentioned, she wants to work with someone who has integrity, and she would rather be the one who's a legend that lost than be the one who is hated. Okay? This lets me know she won't be scared to make huge moves. Kyra is in fantastic position with this cast to lay low for a week or two. In theory, she could work with any group and at the same time could work with nobody. She has the most flexibility coming into the game outside of Eddie, Lynn, and maybe Mark. It's so hard to decide on an apex predator threat because this season has so many high-scoring players. But she edged out Mark and Eddie based off of not only her knowledge of the game, but her ability to not only be an initial threat, but also, I think, between her, Eddie, and Mark, I think they will work together at some point in this game. I think there's no way. I think there's no way these three do not acknowledge each other as clearly the best players on the board. I think there's just no way. I at least think Eddie will acknowledge Kyra as that. I think Kyra will at least acknowledge Mark as that. Now the question is, will he acknowledge this? Or will Mark fall into the trap of all these other heterosexual males pushing for this all men's alliance? Because here's the thing. If Adam Pike comes up to Mark and he says, hey, you want a 4-person alliance? I want a 4-person alliance. Only difference is I want all men. Is that a deal breaker for you? Come on, bro. Like, I could see Mark just taking that deal just to lay low. That doesn't mean Mark won't eventually pivot and then work with Kyra and Eddie. But at the end of the day, though, the way this game is feeling like it's going to shake out to start with, I think you have to put Kyra in the apex predator threat position because no one targets her first, but there is a chance Eddie could be targeted first. There is a chance. I don't think there's a chance Kyra gets targeted first. I think someone will always look at Kyra and go, you know what? Nah, she's not an immediate threat to my game. But people can look at Eddie and go, wait a minute. But see, that's another question. How will anyone see Eddie's game coming because it's so good? I don't think Eddie will be. You know what, man? Mark might be the easiest one that you could talk yourself into targeting week 1 than them two. So, yeah, see what I'm saying? This is how these 3 made it here. Like I can't knock anyone. If you rank Mark first, if you rank Eddie first, if you rank one of these 2 second, one of them 2 third, I can't knock you for that. But at the end of the day, these are by far the best 3 players coming into this season. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. But I think you're doing yourself a disservice if you don't admit these 3 are the best 3 players on paper right now. I think you're doing them a disservice. Okay. Now, so like I said, she won't be scared to make a big move in this game. She's in fantastic position to work with anybody and nobody at the same time. And it's so hard to predict who the apex predator threat is because there's so many high scoring players. Kyra scores high in every category besides the initial threat level. The non-binary blindsider is going to be a problem for the rest of the house, ladies and gentlemen. So what are your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen? Did I get these rankings correctly? Matter of fact, let me score her for a second. Even though I told you guys what the score was, let me go ahead and score it one more time. That way you guys can document it. Ability to adapt, 5 out of 5 stars. Likability and social game, 5 out of 5 stars. Knowledge of the game, 5 out of 5. Pre-game strategy, 5 out of 5. Initial threat level, 3 out of 5. And once again, that is for the non-binary blindsider, Kyra. I will shank your ass, shanker, okay? She has the Apex Predator threat title. It is a lineal championship belt. This is like boxing. You got to take it off of her. That's the only way you're going to get that power vacuum in the game, coach. It's the only way, okay? But yeah, so let's go ahead and one more time, and let's rank everyone from 14 to 1 all at once. That way you guys remember how I ranked it. Now, why don't we? You got Damian Ketla at 14th, 13th, Makimoto, 12th, Estefania Hoyos, 11th, Samantha Pico, 10th, Anthony Douglas, 9th, Dane Rupert, 8th, Kaylin Archer, 7th, Adam Pike, 6th, Laura Roberts, 5th, Kiera Wallace, 4th, Chelsea Bird, 3rd, Eddie Lynn, 2nd, Mark Derelick, and 1st, Kyra Shanker. So, ladies and gentlemen, do you agree with my ranking system? Do you think I was wrong at some point? Comment below. Let me know, coach. I am your humble host, Dave Smith, and this has been the first rant of Big Brother Canada 7. And this is where no one is safe from criticism, ladies and gentlemen. If you could, please like, share, and subscribe. And on the right side of my channel's page, click on that bell. That way you could be here with the most lit live chat in Big Brother Canada 7 history. Bar none, coach. I truly appreciate everybody that came through live tonight. I will be taking questions after the first episode of Big Brother Canada 7. We will get into questions then. But for now, I want you guys to take in what you've all just heard from me. And I want you guys to rewatch those interviews and decide for yourself if I was wrong or not. Who knows? I think I'm right. But I always think I'm right. So anyway, I hope you all enjoy yourself. Have a great Sunday night and have a great week of work, ladies and gentlemen. I'll get back at y'all on Wednesday, March 6th for the premiere. Deuces.